allegiance. If you could. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello all. As you know, my name is Jerry. I see a lot of new faces in the crowd, but a lot of old friends as well. I want to say welcome and thank you for coming tonight. First of all, I just want to give you a quick overview. We're just going to give a quick little overview of what we've done in the past year and where we are right now. And I want to introduce a few new members of our team that will be helping to make Lakeview the new cannabis industry leader. So the past year, it's been just about a year now since we last came, and a lot of things have changed and progressed. But as of now, we are still set to move forward. We were in the industrial park in the south side of town, and currently moving forward with the operations for production license, which is the growing aspect, the processing license, which is the concentrates aspect, and also the wholesale license.
Jerry.
So, about 1 year ago, we started with the idea of coming to town, and Lakeview embraced us. And since that time, we've been amazed at the generosity of the town and how well the town's accepted us into your community. And for that, we want to say thank you. It really has been a pleasure working with you, and we look forward to the future. So right now, we are at the south side of town in the industrial park. And many of you guys know where we are right now. For those who don't, we are at the old McFarland Door Factory. Currently, we are still in construction, and we will be hopefully get things on the road in about 2 months. Now, first I want to introduce our new CEO.
Good evening, sir. Good to meet you all.
Our project manager, Phil. Good evening, everyone. And you guys all know Marcus already from the last meeting. And we also have a new general manager, David. So with this new team, we hope to accomplish great things. Many of you know, Oregon recently last year allowed the recreational sales of cannabis. And because of that, we are now able to hopefully turn Lakeview around and improve the economic development of this town. Currently, we are in line to be scheduled to start somewhere around the beginning of the summer. And higher processes will also begin that time. But things will progress, and as they progress, we'll keep you updated as well. Currently, though, we do want to introduce David, have him come up and just give a little speech about what his background is and what he's done and accomplished in the past. Dave actually comes to us from Colorado and has done amazing things in this small town. And similar to Lakeview, this town, it screams the same concepts and same virtues of this town. And you really have to imagine what we could do for Lakeview in the coming years. David?
Hello, everybody. So, my name is David Nickham. I just moved here from Ridgeway, Colorado. It was a community of about 900 people. I started in the industry in 2009 in Denver. Started off as a grower, moved on to consulting, and then met the partner that I'm working with now, and he brought me out to a ski town in Crescent Butte. That town was 1,500 people. We started working together in 2010. There were 3 of us, 3 employees. We started with 96 plants. The company is currently at 5 stores with 3 pending stores opening and a grow facility that will top about 80,000 square feet. The municipalities, all the Western Slope, all the ski towns we worked in were all small towns just like this. The town I was in was half the size of this town. Being Colorado was one of the first states to go recreational, go medical, we understood how sensitive this issue was, how sensitive it was to bring it out to the public, and we definitely handled it very sensitively. Lots of people were against us, and over the last 5 years, we've changed a lot of minds. The company hired 44 people over that span. We were very heavily involved in the community, which we were invited by a lot of our municipalities at the time. So now that the rest of the country, the rest of the world is really opening up to marijuana, we started reaching out. This is my girlfriend, Aubrey. She just moved out here with me. We looked in Massachusetts, we looked in New York, I went down to Florida, came out here to Oregon, met with Jerry just on a coincidence that I happened to talk to him after I planned my trip out to Portland. Met with Jerry first, drove up to Portland, met with some other centers up there. I wanted to make sure that I met with Jerry the last time before I left the state because Jerry seems to have a really good concept of what he wants to bring to this town. And I think him and I are definitely a lot like-minded, and for me to be able to use my experience and what I've done in these small towns and go, do what I've done, I think we're going to do it well, and we definitely want to make sure that it benefits everybody. So when you guys see me out in the public and say hi to me and remind me where I saw you, we're going to be here for quite a long time, and find it very convenient to have some of the, again, this town is twice the size of the town where we came from. So, anything else? That's about it.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you everybody.
We're definitely happy to have David here. His experience is invaluable for us. Right now, we just want to give you guys the opportunity to ask us questions. When we first did our first meeting, we gave you a quick brief of what we were going to do, and plans really haven't changed. We're still on the same track, and we still hope to promote cannabis in a better light, in a more positive light than what you're used to seeing. Professionally, we do have Lee. He comes from the CEO world, from the business world, and has a lot of experience turning business around and making sure they're productive and also very favorable to communities, and make sure we don't lose a small town feel. Right now, we are in construction phase, and soon we'll be in the hiring phase. Shortly, sometime in the beginning of summer. Hopefully, to have everything ready by then. For now, though, I'll open up to questions and answers, and anyone have any questions for us? Sir.
What's the status on the south site out north of town?
Well, sir, when we first started the project, we initiated it with another company. Since then, we decided to terminate our agreement with them and just go a different route. That is not, well, we won't work with that company right now, and we have no idea, sir. Whatever they're doing is beyond us.
Okay.
So you're not located in that area anymore?
No, ma'am, no, we're not. Any other questions? Sir,
Yeah, is the other company still thinking about coming to Lakeview?
the other company?
Yeah, you said that you broke away from the one company.
Mm-hmm.
Is they still thinking about coming to Lakeview?
Sir, I have no idea. That's something that's up to the other company. We don't have any relations with them at the moment. Ma'am?
You said you were going to hire people. Do you know approximately how many people you will need?
Currently, we're still adapting to our plans. We're waiting for the regulations for the OLCC to actually give us, finalize everything for us. And once we have that done, we can know for sure what we can provide or not. We are looking to hire a good fair amount of people locally. We have brought in a few experts in our field. David is one of them. And for this to work out in the best for the community, we want to make sure there's professional and professionalism is top of our list. But not only that, but also safe environment where we can produce the right sentiments and mentality to further the cannabis industry.
Are you in the place at the old McFarland place? Are you just mainly going to do inside grow, or?
We do have plans for greenhouses as well.
Okay, where
Yes.
would they? Do you know where they're going to be
Same
located?
location now.
Same location. Okay, and still like above ground, doing the geothermal.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
kind of
Yes, ma'am. Geothermal solar, it is, the renewable energies aspect of it is one of the main reasons we came to Lakeview. Without that, it'd just be another grow.
Right.
But because of that, we're able to now capitalize on the Earth's resources and hopefully make it net positive carbon footprint.
Okay.
When you say same location, you're still talking about the industrial?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any further questions?
I have a question. If this other company comes to also build a cannabis grow situation, will that be competition? Will that make it more difficult for one or the other to succeed?
Well, ma'am, for the 42nd group, we've always valued ourselves on quality. We're not about big numbers. We're about making the best we can for our final end users, the customers, and also the patients. Right now with Oregon going the way it is, the line between recreational and medical is being more skewed every day. So we do want to provide the best we can. I can't speak for the other company, but what I can speak for is our own company, and we do have a promise to make sure that everything we produce is of top quality without any harmful residue. We're hoping to produce the best we can.
So you're going organic?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. What other products will you be able to grow, and what end products do you hope to produce from marijuana?
Well, ma'am, so to answer both questions, for the first question, we were at first planning to produce a lot of other crops as well, basic companion planting, but since the OLCC released the regulations, we are limited now by what we can do, space and whatnot. Currently, we are only allowed to grow cannabis, and to have another facility on site would also jeopardize the security of the operation. And security is one of our main issues, to make sure that the children don't have access to the product, that anyone unauthorized cannot enter the facility. Unfortunately, with other plants and other crops, it becomes more of an issue. You have, say, workers coming in and doing other things that are not cannabis related. But the products we will create, we have concentrates. We do want to explore the edibles, and also basically whatever we can do to promote the business. So,
Do you know what the numbers were as far as the tax dollars that were created since it's been legalized in Oregon? Do you have those numbers?
well, I can tell you that was over $3 million the first month in tax revenue. I mean, people thought it was going to be a lot lower. Folks, I got to tell you that cannabis will change this entire state, and in fact, it will change the community. In fact, look at now, this community has already been changing. There's more stores open now. People are out more. We're able to hire more people in town. So it's steadily increasing.
Are you going to be looking at local people who might have greenhouses or could do either seedlings for you or clones for you, to where then you take them to the next stage? Or are you going to be just inclusive with your own greenhouses, or how are you going to look to other people in the community who could grow for you?
Well, ma'am,
For those kind of different stages?
in this industry, we have always been one that shares and works together with everyone.
Okay.
I would never tell you that we will say no, but it really does depend on regulations and
Yes,
what the OLCC will allow us to do.
Yeah.
And now, that also opens another aspect of our meeting tonight is the hemp aspect. We are currently moving forward with hemp in Klamath Falls, and we are also entertaining bringing it to Lakeview as well.
Okay.
Lake County could definitely benefit from it. I mean, hemp uses less water than, say, alfalfa. It produces one hell of a lot more
Right.
per acre.
So would you, are you open to that? I guess if other people in the community can
Yes.
help, okay.
Yes,
got it.
we definitely are. But of course, pending regulations,
the
of
rules.
course.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
So,
I'm very keen on the medical aspect for those that it works for. First off, what percentage of recreation to medical are you going to have? And medical, it's going to take a lot of research to get it fine-tuned, and that's going to be down the road ways. But you have to start someplace. Can you give us just a ratio of the recreation to medical? And how are you going to proceed with the medical?
well, sir, to answer both questions, medical right now in Oregon is considered a completely separate operation. The OMMP is regulated by the health authority, and the OLCC, which is the Liquor Commission, runs the recreational side. Currently, you cannot have dual operations on the same property. So we do have a medical operation in town, and we also are open to having more. Part of my thing is I came as a patient. I've been a patient for many years now, and without it, I couldn't walk. It would be very difficult for me to walk around. So as such, we do help our patients wherever they are in Lake County, and I offer free advice to them. This is something that I've done since the beginning, since I first showed up. In fact, just yesterday, helping another gentleman within his medical grow. Now, for the recreational side, it has to be segregated, and just because the OLCC wants to make sure that all products coming in and out are tracked. There is very small chance of it disappearing somehow into the public. Everything from the seed, as soon as it gets to us from genetics, there is a tracker. And that tracking ID will stay with it for the entire life of the product, down to the consumer. So with that, we will have different operations going concurrently.
I was under the impression that the hot water on the south end was marginally able to keep up with the hospital and the schools. Is there going to be enough hot water to do what you want to do on that end?
Well, currently we're still working with the town about the whole geothermal issue, but there should be plenty. It doesn't take too much to heat up the greenhouse.
What is your expected volume per cycle, and what distribution do you have?
Unfortunately, some of those questions are proprietary, but we do have distribution networks throughout Oregon, mostly in the larger cities, Portland, Corvallis, Eugene, Medford, Bend, just to name a few. But of course, eventually when the OLCC releases the licenses statewide, we will have distribution throughout all the operations. Yes. There are currently, I think, 130 or 100, give or take over 100 dispensaries that were medical that are now also selling recreationally as well. Not all the medical dispensaries opted into that program, so there is some slight differences in numbers. But eventually, the OLCC hopefully will have everything ready by the third quarter. Yeah.
Maybe you've already answered this question, but I maybe wasn't paying attention. Do you have any indication when the licenses are going to be released, or when you're going to, when the OLCC is going to work together?
I'll tell you the same thing they tell us.
Yes.
Refer back to the website. First, second quarter, third quarter.
Okay.
Just
thanks.
I thought I saw a hand over here somewhere.
Yeah, have the regulations been established on transport to the retail facilities?
Yes and no. They have set standards, but there are still things we're working out. There's certain kinks, but right now there is the proper way to do it is to have it the most secure way. So to answer that question, yes, and the answer is the most secure avenue possible. Yes, ma'am.
Do you foresee any retail operations in Lakeview or Lake County?
We have discussed that in the past, but currently we're still in talks and see how it goes out. Because the reality is, right now, we don't have anything planned. But in the future, that might change. It might not be with us. It might be with another company or another organization. But currently, we do not have anything planned.
On the medical aspect also?
On the medical aspect as well.
What would be I know you can't let everybody go through it, but what would be the chances less than maybe one day a month or something, less than 4 or 5 people go through the place?
There are tours that are allowed in the OLCC standards and regulations. However, right now we are not ready to start tours just yet. But we do have plans to have Canada Tourism come to Lakeview, and we're an open book. We are always transparent. But as of right now, we do have proprietary methods that no one else does in this industry yet. We do have to maintain those secrecies, but at the same time, we do plan on allowing tours to happen, just not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have an internet presence?
We're rebuilding right now. We had to take down our website because we were receiving so much mail that it was just a bunch of randomness. But we will ask them to set it up eventually. Hopefully within next month we'll have an actual branded site up and ready for the public to see.
You know, I read an article in the Herald News recently that said that that all estimates of income from marijuana sales in Oregon would be between 3 and 4 million a year. January showed the income from marijuana sales at 3.7 or 8 million just in the month of January. So it is.
In fact, that's only on flower sales too. So, see, even the babes understand. But you're right. So the current estimates on the actual tax revenue brought in that first month in 2016 only accounted for one aspect of the business, which is the flower sales. Now, there's also the edibles and concentrates market that have not been tapped yet, which at the same time will also not only rival, but probably surpass the flower sales. A lot of the newer generation, you know, even myself, I don't like smoking. A lot of the newer generation does not like smoking as well. So the edible market and also the vaporization in the edibles, that produces another avenue for, say, the common day, everyday user who does not want to smoke. They can now also medicate with edibles, and at the same time also recreate with the same thing.
Currently, you can't do that recreation now, though.
Not yet,
Waiting to hear
sir.
that.
Not yet. But they did release recently that they were planning to let the recreational market start purchasing, but they're still just fine-tuning everything still.
And you're going to be a part of the whole process of that part?
Yes, sir.
You're going to use a butane sort of process?
No, sir, we do not use any butane. Everything we do is geared towards the health and welfare of our clients and people. I mean,
Okay, butane.
yeah, you know, I won't say anything bad about butane, but I will say that we plan to do everything organically with as little chemical interactions as possible.
What do you do?
We cannot disclose that, ma'am. But I can promise that we do not use any hydrocarbons. Everything we do is about as natural as you're going to get.
So you would be looking here in the town to do like a bakery kind of thing where you would do some of the edibles or that kind of stuff?
Yes, hopefully in the near future, ma'am.
Can you could your new team members maybe tell us a little bit about themselves and what their plans for your company might be?
Sure, absolutely. I come from the business world. I've been a CEO for 30 odd years in England, in Australia, New Zealand, and my excitement is taking a business and building it, growing something that can deliver success for everyone involved in every different way. So it's really about coming into a new market that is a mixture between the dot-com, the end of prohibition, and the gold rush, and build something genuinely sustainable that can move towards the future, that can be here for 100 years, and can grow across the country, not just in Oregon. The legislation is changing state by state. Just today, Victoria in Australia legislated to authorize medical use, and it's happening. England will be next. Even Colombia in South America is allowing medical use. So you'll see the states happening. They're talking that the FDA, the DEA is likely going to declassify marijuana, which will change the entire landscape again. And you'll start to see the commercial landscape changing, that it'll literally be like having a liquor store in town. There'll just be a cannabis store. And we aim to be the market leader across the entire country. We want to do it best, we want to do it purest, and deliver the best product to the customer, the best experience, because for a lot of people, it's about how they enjoy life, whether they want to just relax and calm down and have a very restful process, or whether they want to recreate and have some fun, or whether they've got a medical issue and they actually need a remedy for or whatever that may be. But our goal is to provide the best experience for our customers.
All that would be produced in Lakeview, or do you have several other factories? Or?
Lakeview, yeah, this is the epicenter for cannabis here.
So this is a distributed project, it's centralized. Klamath Falls,
and as you see, the customer-facing brand name, will be able to announce that and release that in due course. It's not going to be the 42nd group, that's not the sort of hippest trade name you ever see. So you'll see an announcement soon that gives you the customer-facing, the brand name, and the website comes off the back of that.
Phil Barnes. I'm employed by the group on a consulting basis. I'm a project management specialist, and I was brought in initially to try and accelerate and help the process of getting this site running. I'm also involved in the overarching business development of 42nd Group, because that has a project management aspect as well. I came initially for 2 months. That's come to an end very quickly, but the relationship will continue, and I'll redeploy as and when I need to, and also work remotely. But sadly, I won't be relocating to Lakeview. My family and kids and everything are all back in the UK, and so far I'm trying to persuade my wife that we need to live anywhere else. But I think you'll see my face quite a lot.
For those that have not met me yet, I was in the first meeting. My name is Marcus Koch, and I'm one of the co-founders. I'm here to help oversee the project and business development, and as well, just not locally, but nationally as well as globally. So I'm just here to help with the business.
You heard David already. So the answer question earlier too, Mark. We do have operations for hemp in other cities and localities, but as far as the recreational cannabis side goes, Lakeview's our home, Lakeview is our team, Lakeview is what we believe in. And we do hope to rebuild this town to its former glory days. Recently there's been a lot of talk, a lot of people have approached us saying, hey, we need jobs, we need jobs, we need jobs. Well, that's what we're providing. A lot of people have also came to us and asked us questions about the safety issues, about what possibility of children getting access to the product. Well, I can keep that pretty easy. Our facility would be like Fort Knox. We'd be very hard pressed for anyone to disseminate cannabis to any of the minors. And that is something that we do not agree with, is if there are people still recreating out there, please try to stop that. The black market is something we want to get rid of, folks. And that only can happen with your support and as a unified front. So at this point, any other questions? No, sir.
So for right now, the 20 greenhouses will be out. The only thing you got working on is the one face down here, Southtown. Okay.
Jerry, what are you doing right now downtown? Are you building
construction,
putting in water systems and that type of thing, tables and that?
Yes, sir, construction.
So you're not having any local people to help with that?
We do. We have quite a few. We hired quite a few already locally. In fact, there's one right here. We're going as fast as we can right now. Currently, the jobs we have right now they're not up and running yet. We're starting construction to stop, and once that finalizes, we can start the hiring process immediately.
Right. Well, one thing, which was in the paper or somewhere, I had a lowdown, said you were going to provide information about employment at this meeting. So I guess what I'm hearing is, right now, you're not taking any applications.
We will always take applications, sir. But the best time to come to us will be actually when we start the actual hiring phase itself. We do have a nice list of applicants that have built up over the past year. But with the application process, we are opening it up to somewhere around the beginning of the summer. Hopefully, as soon as all paperwork and everything is finalized. Because we can't start hiring without the permits and whatnot.
You're not taking applications now for contractors, like electricians and those kind of things, for people that want to maybe get on the job?
That will actually defer to our engineers and whatnot, but not at the current moment. No, sir, we're not. That's another hand.
So you'll be downsizing from what your original plan was?
Well, original plan did encompass a larger operation, but because of the regulations, we're forced to limit our production scale to a lot smaller.
If you do have greenhouses, can you grow other plants? I was really excited about ginseng and peas and chilies.
You know, that's part of I'm a botanist first and foremost, a scientist, and I would love to have grown ginseng. And teas, you know, everything I like to grow, turns out we can't do it at the same location. Because most people limit on spacing.
Even if it's in a separate growing area?
Well, once again,
like
that's,
a contained.
we are very limited on size and location. So even right now as we speak, we are planning to do some companion growing, but in terms of production scale of ginseng and other agricultural products, we had to put that on hold. It's mostly because our limitations on space. We just don't have the space for it. And also OLCC is making it a little harder and difficult.
What about intercompanion growing? Is that proprietary?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of background check do you do on the people you hire?
So the people we hire will have to undergo a full background check, including any past criminal histories. The main thing is drug use. We do not condone crystal meth, we do not condone cocaine, heroin. If you're on prescription medication, you know, I tell you personally, I look down on people who abuse it. If you use it correctly, perfect. But you know, unfortunately, we all have people we know that, especially in this town, I've met quite a few that do have those issues with drug abuse. And that is one of the things we will be testing for. You know, the last thing we want is for some drug addict to mishaps and create an accident that, you know, it could hurt other people as well. So we do have a full background check. Full criminal history will be required, and also drug testing. And there will be surprise drug tests throughout our operation for people who are operating. Now, of course, cannabis will not be one of those things tested, but if you abuse cannabis and you come to work high, I'm sorry, but that is not okay with us. We are a professional business and we run it so.
Jerry, do you guys still have an office downtown?
No, sir. We actually we moved to our new location just a few months ago. Just getting going from there. Although it's a beautiful building, though. It's a beautiful building, though.
If people wanted to drop off resumes or whatever, is that allowed now, or you want to wait?
For the most part, we will always accept it, but the best option will be to wait until we announce it. Sometime around the beginning of summer, we should be announcing via radio and also newspaper.
Has the town indicated that they're going to take their option of the 3% tax?
Well, so the 3% tax is an issue that goes towards the retail side. From our perspective right now, we are not currently entertaining that idea just of yet, but we have discussed it. We have sourced, trying to find locations that might be beneficial for the town as well, for the company as well. But a 3% tax usually will come from the retail location, if there is one. And you know, the 3% might seem small to everyone, but 3% does add up, and that goes directly into the community itself. So I know there's some opposition to a retail location, but at the same time, it does help the community, and if you do it the right way, there's very little chance of anything bad happening. You know, I know the town has had experiences in the past with another location that has some faulty issues. But we are a more professional organization that we promote responsible use and also responsible distribution as well. And that does mean keeping the drugs out of the hands of children. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a comment. Just for those who are concerned about the retail thing, I just took a trip down the coast. And if anyone has been to the coast, there are medical marijuana things in damn near every town. All the ones that I saw, I did not go in any. There was a desk in the front room. That was it. And a person at that desk who apparently takes the order, takes the people to the back. However they do it, I don't know, because I haven't done it myself. But that to me showed a real strong security effort by these businesses. And I think that would be helpful to know. I'm sure recreation has to be something similar.
Oh, it is. The medical side has strict security requirements. The recreational side has even stricter requirements. So, you know, there would be very little anyone can do to actually get cannabis onto the streets from the recreational market because of the way that's regulated and tracked. Everything that happens, every time it travels, changes hands, there is a record of this. When you go purchase any kind of cannabis in a retail location, they do ask that you give your ID. This not only makes sure that you are of age, but also it makes sure that you understand that this product should not get out to the hands of children. And for all responsible users, it is a big thing. You know, the last thing we want is a bunch of kids hopped up on cannabis, next thing you know, making a big fiasco. And it makes the industry look bad. So we do promote responsible use.
What about an out-of-state buyer?
No. Well, the thing is, if they are out of state, if they can come and purchase the product, but they are not allowed to bring it back home. As soon as they cross that state line, they are now committing a federal crime.
Right, but the vendors, the stores, don't bear any responsibility with whether or not they're going to take it across the state line, correct?
Well, folks,
it doesn't matter if they're from out of state.
So it does not matter legally. However, responsibility-wise and morally, that is something that is all of our responsibilities to make sure it does not happen. You know, for this, it's a fledgling industry right now, and it's only growing. And the last thing we want is for interstate commerce on the black market to occur. And our whole stance is based upon fighting the black market, making sure that we can produce a good industry, good business with good business practices. One of those things is making sure that we follow all rules and regulations. Now, for those people who do come from out of state and purchase, yes, there is a possibility they could bring it back to their home state. But at the same time, we do make sure to tell them, hey, you know, your ID came from, say, Idaho or Nevada or California. Make sure you do not bring this across state lines. Consume it in Oregon, consume it safely, and not in a vehicle, and at your home, out of sight. And that's all we can ask now. You know, if you look at the alcohol use, look at any other thing. It's really hard for us to put the responsibility on ourselves, but we do try to advocate.
If I could say a few things. You know, we did have 5 stores in Colorado. In those 5 stores, we did over 40,000 transactions. We communicated a lot. You know, we had a lock up your product campaign to remind parents to keep it away from kids. And no backlash from that. We were on border towns, Durango, Colorado, and Carbondale and Ridgeway. If you set your store up right and you have the right type of customers, which we seem to have, for the first 6 months we were in business, over 52% of our customers were over the age of 55, while 7% of our customers were under the age of 25. It's based off the pricing and things like that. But if I were involved, and I have been involved in a lot of retail and medical sales in Colorado, and we're pretty confident with our marketing and our education to prevent a lot of things that could be concerning for someone that hasn't been in retail stores. And security is top notch. But not only do we check the IDs when they come in, but we make sure they leave them on the counter the entire time. You know, and we give out pamphlets, we give out information, and we make sure that people are aware that there's a privilege to buy marijuana in Colorado, and we want to bring that over here to Oregon also.
Jerry, how's the impact of, because the county hasn't really endorsed the recreational part of it, because I don't know, I guess this is a question also for Ken. We're going out to vote in November. How is this, could this impact you in your growth because you're bound to the city? Is it urban growth boundary? Are we part of the urban growth boundary, or how did they work that yet? Because I'm still not clear.
The urban growth boundary is governed by the county.
Okay. Okay,
And
so,
I understand that you guys have been annexed into the town.
right. So right now, the only thing that the town has with us is really the wood stoves and that part that you've relinquished to the town. On the
wood
urban growth
stove, their
boundary.
quality,
Right.
that is a mutual.
Because I get
concern.
mixed up, because you guys go back and forth with urban growth boundary this or the town that. So that's why I'm asking, if you decide to grow, and it really is a good economical viable thing, which I'm sure it will be, how is that going to impact if the county goes out to vote and it doesn't pass? I don't know, it's just a question out there. If you'd be looking at other land in the town, or how that would impact you on your production.
Production-wise,
Right.
it wouldn't really impact us at all.
Okay.
But the change to the county itself will be huge. The fact that the county will be letting go of all the opportunities
Right,
that do
right.
come from
Yes.
the legalization. I mean, the numbers don't lie, folks. It's $3 million the first month in tax revenue. And that's just the first month on one product, not even the edibles and not even the concentrate side. So there will be a substantial impact on the community. In terms of the legalization and whether or not you can still recreate, that doesn't change a thing.
Right,
Cannabis is now legal in Oregon to use by any responsible adult, and that does not change. You can still grow your own plants, you still are allowed forward. So it really doesn't change too much, and at the same time, it does change quite a bit. So there really is a give and take right there.
Yeah, that's some of my concern, because, I mean, next week we're talking urban growth boundary stuff with Red Rock, and I would rather publicly say I'd rather have you come in than Red Rock with a lot of CO2s and a lot of destruction to our community. I would rather support you, given the choice.
The tax revenue of 3.5 or 3.7 or whatever it was, at what rate is that? What's the base tax rate? I mean, how is marijuana taxed?
I can't remember right now.
25%.
Right now.
25%, of which 60% of that goes straight into education. And if you go to the OLCC website, under taxation, you can see a breakdown of that 25% tax rate, how it's apportioned and where it's allocated to.
Yeah, but 3% on top of that also goes to the towns and municipalities that allow it. Say, for instance, if Lakeview allows it, then there will be a 3% tax added on to that.
And that's based solely on the recreational distribution?
Yes.
And that tax rate is at retail, as a customer.
So as a follow-up question, if the retail sales are mostly done, say, on the I-5 corridor, will the revenue or the tax revenue be put back to that retail corridor, or is that spread throughout the state?
Statewide. Statewide, spread throughout.
It's a state tax.
And is it based on, like for schools, is it based on the number of children that are in that county, or is it based on the size of the county?
I think the OLCC has stated that it will be distributed per capita for each county-based. But that does lead to an interesting question of if the city allows it, town allows it, the county doesn't, how does that work out? And ma'am, honestly, that's a question for the attorneys at OLCC.
What about medical marijuana research? Is more and more money being put into it, or what? Because it was illegal basically to research it for 50-some years.
Well, I do know there is one research license being under check right now. They're trying to make sure that they have everything in play and all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. But there is one research license currently in the state of Oregon. It's being sought after.
What will be the major impact on the research and the study of it will be reclassifying from that Schedule 1 to a Schedule 2. So we all, we hope that's going to go. I think it's the 6th time it's come up. But that's going to make a major impact.
But there is quite a bit of a look into the research aspect of it, because cannabis has been shown to have such tremendous medicinal qualities. and the research doesn't lie, the science doesn't lie, data is data. The only thing now is to make sure our government goes forward and hopefully allows it. Any other questions, folks?
When this comes before the voters in November in the county to make a decision about whether or not we'd be able to have recreational grows, is that correct? And retail sales?
In the county, yes.
In the county, not in the municipality of the town of Lakeview?
The town of Lakeview has already allowed it.
Right, right. So my question is, when it comes on the ballot, do we know right now how, what that's going to look like in terms of the wording? And because we all know that sometimes when you look at something and you read it, it's difficult to know if you're really voting for what you want the outcome to be. So can somebody talk a little bit about how that works and who is responsible for doing that?
Unfortunately, ma'am, we don't know.
Okay.
But
Mr. Kestner. Mr. Kestner.
I don't have a straight answer, I have a politician answer.
So that's, okay.
The way the ordinance was passed to put it on was any and all marijuana production and growth. So if the people votes down, it'd be no recreation or retail and no medical. It wasn't divided up.
Okay.
And who done this? I think the process is that the county,
You should revisit it.
I think the process is that the county commissioners will propose a ballot measure, a title that will be, have to be reviewed by and approved by possibly the county clerk to be put on the ballot for the November election. And you know, that language will have to be developed by the county commissioners and proposed. So, you know, how they construe that and how it's approved will be up to the folks at the county.
And we'll consult with the legal counsel and have it drafted.
So is it the He Group or something like that, who owns the land that's over north of town, or are they gonna do anything with that? Because all they've done is really made a mess of it, and it's like an environmental disaster or something, it looks like, you know? I mean,
I have no idea.
you don't know.
We haven't been
Wow.
working with the company for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, they just
Are they not
kind of
related to
destroyed
the
it.
group at all?
No, sir. We have no relations with that company. So.
Okay.
Who's regulating what they're doing out there? County?
They have a planning authorization and building, but they needed to go through
Conditional use probably permit,
Conditional
yeah,
use.
definitely.
well,
They did not.
they can clear land out there, but they have to build or something, and they don't have to, not through the
Right,
building.
right. Well, we noticed they took the porta potty out, and, you know, we thought something
But
was
the
wrong,
biggest
but,
thing is-
I mean, it's like, God, just fences, just a disaster there.
Well, they did a lot of land clearing, and they got ahead of themselves a little bit.
Oh, yeah, the poor little
With
bunnies
the
are just,
DSL, Department of State
don't have a
Lands,
home anymore.
the wetlands.
Yes, yes,
the
it is.
Potentially archaeological.
Yes,
So
yes.
they somewhat been put on hold.
Okay, I love it.
Surprised that they were out there.
But they just got ahead of themselves a little bit before they.
Ken, who are,
I
who are
thought the
they?
steamroller was a nice picture about that mud.
Ken, who are they?
Who are?
What's the name of the company?
It's either he or ha.
He,
It depends on which.
where are they based out of?
I haven't dealt with them. Now, what I gather, they was kind of partners with you guys and you separated.
We initially had an agreement in which we terminated. Our vision is a little different than theirs, but we don't have any idea of what they're doing. We don't know, we're not associated with that company at all.
You don't know where they're based out of?
No, sir.
So would they have to go through the same sort of a community process that the 42nd group has gone through if they wanted to do growing out there as well?
They had to go through the urban growth boundary and the planning. Right now, on the planning, if I understand correct, they want to put greenhouses in, and that's agriculture, and that is agriculture out there, so it's outright use.
But it's a conditional use permit. Because it'll be industrial, commercial, instead of just ag.
But they've got a long ways to go yet, they haven't passed all the hoops yet.
Will those groups be?
I hope so.
Aren't you glad you came, Ken?
It was better than a budget meeting today.
We all love those.
Please come to the budget meeting on Friday.
One comment I wanted to make is one of the things that we have sometimes that happens in this community is there's not any transparency. In other words, you guys start doing something down there, and no one knows what you're doing, and everyone's wondering what's going on. You know, you may be making missiles down there as far as we know. But you know, it does mean for this community, I think, you know, it helps to be transparent. You don't have to say, hey, this is the kind of fertilizer we're using so many times a day, but basically, hey, this is where we are. We finished the construction, we're waiting for on the liquor commission to make some decisions. And then also, you know, letting people know, you know, this isn't the whole county here, and I know there's a lot of interest in other parts of the county. Let's do, you know, you got new partners. Get the picture in the paper. You know, who are they and stuff? You know, no one's going to shoot them.
There you go.
But that's what this is.
But try to, you know, increase the transparency so that we're up at the same level. And
Oh, I totally agree, sir.
Yeah.
Being transparent is part of our business model. In this day and age, and with the industry going towards the light, so to speak,
right,
we no longer need to hide in the shadows.
right.
This is a normal business, we treat it as such, and we pay taxes as such. So being transparent is definitely what we do. We're not going to hide anything because we have nothing to hide.
Well,
There was just for a comment, there was a video, I can't remember what the, I don't know if I forget about it was, I think, on Netflix or so. And it covered the whole operation over in Colorado at Crescent View. The problems that they had, and concerns by the public, etc. And it wasn't controversial. It was very educational. And there's a lot of things that get done. Because you're coming here, I can say, well, hey, you know, I saw that program, and this guy was involved in some of those things. And so he's a little bit ahead, because he's dealt with those problems that they had in Colorado.
Yeah, we definitely did the Crescent View thing. We lived in a community with 900 people. We had no choice but to be transparent, and most of the time the transparency was to eliminate rumors and horrible rumors that do happen. So, you know, I think it's great that Jerry did this evening. I think trying to propose the transparency right now is extremely important, and so everybody in the community knows we're trying to do the best that we can and not hide anything. It is always the best way to go, and it makes our lives a lot easier because we do live in this community. So.
Good. I was raised on the small town values. Don't need lie, don't need cheat, don't need steal. That's it. So, you know, being able to express that openly, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. You know, we no longer need to hide in the shadows. We don't need to pretend we're something we're not. This is the cannabis industry, and we're professionals.
On the transparency, I'd just like to thank you for voting budget.
No, it is our pleasure. You know, we're part of the community as well. The Lakeview is our home.
Was this in the paper, on the radio, or
Yes.
something like that?
Paper. Yeah, sometimes it does escape you a little bit.
On social media, they didn't see anything, so I wasn't sure if it was invitation.
But we're hoping more people showed up, actually.
Too cold now.
Oh, yeah.
But there is one key thing that people need to know, that this operation and that operation are separate.
Yes.
Correct.
That was a big question, to be honest, when they're working out by us. And, you know, everything that we had heard up until now, tonight, was that you guys had taken over that place, and then we heard nothing, and you see all this work, and heard rumors about, you know, it
It does
split
razzle you a little bit.
and problems, and so, yeah, it is a very good thing to know what's actually happening versus what we've heard.
It's definitely proves, well, states a good point there. You know, most people who know me, who see me on the street, I don't care who you are, I'll take my time to talk to you. If I go to True Value, I go in and buy a light bulb, it takes me 30 minutes. So, you know, really is, we have nothing to hide, and we want the community to know that we have nothing to hide. And if you ever want to ask us a question, I'm sorry, I'm a little too blunt. But so it always comes down to the point where if you have questions, you have concerns, please voice them. You know, we're not hiding anything, we're able to tell you the truth right on the spot.
And the critical piece in all of that is we have very idealistic values about how we do business and the way we operate. And if our relationships with our vendors, our partners, the people that work for us don't meet those standards, then we change it, because this is the way we're going to do business, and it's the best we possibly can.
As far as the group up north that done some land clearing, being in communication with one person, I don't comment yet into that arena, but this person said that there's just some language communication approach of things that they're striving to make sure that they follow the hoop, go through the process and so forth. It just got a little bit ahead. So we need to make sure that they follow through the hoops.
Glad to know.
Folks, any other questions?
Thank you, Chair.
Congratulations.